So thank you very much for allowing me to present to you today in this OW2 online conferences. I think it's the second time I'm talking here, and this time is online. I hope also to join in the OW2 community meeting that is going to happen in November. Let's wish the best of all. I'm gonna talk today. The topic for today's talk actually is about software development at scale, and the idea is to talk about how we kind of lessons we can learn from open source software to apply in our organization wherever is software is being developed, and let's see if we can be more resistant and resilient to this lockdown and pandemic situation that we could be facing in the future. As we said, that digital transformation is here to stay, and this was originally from a tweet I saw some time ago, and it was interesting to the answer about who is leading the digital transformation in our companies. It has been the CEO, the CTO, or not. It has been the COVID-19 as the new reality of things we have changed, and now everybody needs to be a digital company to face all these situations. So let's back to what's digital transformation, and the thing is nobody has it very clear what it is. So I've been checking the Wikipedia. That is usually the source of information I use, and I have found that the first sentence says basically digital transformation is about using IT to solve problems. By problems I understand that is whose problems are. I understand they are basically my problems, my company problems, my customer problems, any problem or any situation I face during my lifetime is basically could be developed or solved using technology at some point. So that's the digital transformation, DX or DT situation. So how companies are adopting this digital transformation, and for many of them it basically means more technology, more IT environment. Companies are becoming IT companies, or even developing or customize existing software for their own needs. So that means that IT teams are becoming more and more important for these companies. This has been said a lot, that basically software is eating the world, and now any company is becoming an IT company. And that again means, okay, my IT team is one of my most important assets or resource in the company, so we should take care of it. So first question, how do we measure IT teams delivery performance? How do I know that they are working, how they are working? Well, there are some set of metrics that are well known, like the delivery metrics. That is some example of metrics we are providing for some customers in our case using open source. And basically it's related with, okay, the two key aspects that are important for companies and people, that is stability. We want to release stable and good quality code. And the throughput, we want to release new features and bug fixes with a good pace, just to be sure that everything is done with enough frequency to innovate and have new features in the market. But again, the question keeps there, are these the metrics that help me retain and talent and have committed IT teams? Because here is just measuring performance. What about the people? What about the relationship of the people? And do they really help to face COVID-19 issues like burnout, stress, and all these situations? Well, the sad news is this World Economic Forum report from 2016 said that 70% of employees say they were disengaged at work, and that's a lot. So next question, how does my organization look like? Because probably the issue is there, and I have realized that many organizations look like silos. They are siloed organizations. Teams working in different business units, both geographically and even under different sectors or business sector environments. So this creates this feeling of siloed organization, and silos are quite bad for companies because they destroy trust. Basically, people who spend time with the same kind of people or the same amount of people, they start to get distrust with other people or other teams. Of course, they cut any communication because you are more easy to talk with people close to you, and that through the foster of complacency, it blocks any innovation in the company. So when we are looking at what open source software look like, how these projects, how they look like, okay, first of all, they've been there for more than 20 years, working remotely and distributed, and basically distributed in the sense of diversity of people with a culture of collaboration, creating things. And here you have, for example, the Mozilla Foundation environment with all the projects there and all the people participating. And it's not only, of course, you can see the big bubbles like Firefox or MDN or Thunderbird, but you can see all of these small dots that are connecting all these projects, and there are people that are collaborating in several projects at the same time. Those are creating some sort of, I would say, knowledge across all the organization, and allows the organization to innovate faster, because basically you can take the knowledge of this project and that project and build something new and innovate there. And specifically, we look at, okay, how these important projects have been before and after COVID-19. I mean, how they were 1 year ago, for example, what they were the patterns and what they look like now. If we look at the Linux kernel, we can see that basically they are performing the same in terms of patterns, that basically people is working weekly and there's the same amount of commits per week. So basically this no big change. Kubernetes, I would say, quite similar. All the projects in the Apache Software Foundation all together are performing quite similar. There are some spikes probably because specific thing, but not related with the COVID probably. Or even GitLab as an organization that is doing these GitLab EE or GitLab C projects, basically they are performing almost the same. So live rate is another example, and here I'm also comparing the time to response and time to first attention, and then you can see that the numbers are quite similar for the last 3 months or last 4 months compared with the whole last year. So again, nothing seems to have changed, just little slight changes probably in the time to start working and stuff like that. And I would say for Jitsi has been a stressful month probably because people has been a lot of interest in this tool, for example, for doing calls, and then you can see how many new issues they have been attending lately in the lower corner. But again, it seems that they are resilient at some point. So how could I apply all these open source development methods inside my company? And some people say, okay, there is something called inner source. Probably you can apply that. This is what it would be. And inner what is this inner source thing? And it was Tim O'Reilly on 2000 that coined the term inner source as to use open source development techniques within the corporation. And what does it mean? What this is about doing open source? It's about releasing code. What does it mean? So I would like to explain this through what is not an inner source from our experience and the experience we have in our company. Well, inner source is not open source. I mean, it's not releasing publicly your code under a license and creating a community, but it means transparency internally in your company. It means that you need to allow people to work in different projects inside your company. It means that people will have this kind of governance models and all this stuff. So you need to understand more or less how could be the issues to do this. Of course, it's not Agile, Scrum, or your favorite development methodology, even Waterfall. And I mean, it's not against any of them. Basically, it's something completely different, and it's more related with the culture and the values you want to build on your company. But it has also some principles related with Agile, Scrum, and things like that. Principles like culture, communication, transparency, collaboration, community, and meritocracy. And basically, you can read about them in the Apache way. That is the way Apache Software Foundation defines the culture of their projects. Of course, it's not easy. You can imagine all the situations you need to face, like, okay, what about NDAs with my employees? What about what kind of code I can show to anyone in the company? What kind of code probably is not ready for that? What is the governance model? All this stuff. How are I gonna allow people to work in different projects? How is it gonna work? And it's not easy, but there is a foundation, a community that is the Inner Source Commons Foundation. It's a European foundation that the aim is to create a body of knowledge around inner source practices. So I would recommend you to look for it because they are doing a great job. And it's not new, as I said, because the term is from 2000, but there are companies in the foundation that are very well known, and these people are applying inner source internally. And it's not only about IT company. Well, nowadays everybody should be an IT company, but you could recognize some French, German, North American companies that are clearly not known because they are an IT company, like Leroy Merlin, I don't know, Zalando, Comcast, Bosch. They are doing quite different things there, and it's not only just code. Okay. So how do I know if any of these practices are working, if I put them in place in my company, and I will suggest, okay, let's start by something simple, like a small project. I would like to let people work on it because it's something that it would be interesting for the company. So how do I know if I'm successful? I'm sorry, my fault. I'm working on a data analytics company, and I strongly believe that without data, you are just having an opinion, but not real facts. And again, we have all these metrics that we explained in the beginning about the delivery and stuff like that. So there should be something there that we can guess and we can use to know if this thing is working. Okay, for that, what we are doing usually as Peter with companies, friends, partners is basically applying this analytics metrics strategy. They basically start with the strategy, just understand what the goals of the company, what do we want to achieve when doing this inner source software, and then let's go to the analysis phase that we basically build the questions we want to solve, and then once we have these questions and where we can get the information from, we'll go to the customization of a data analysis tool that is free open source software, in the case of Vitalia, the one we are using. And from there, we are reporting all this information to the managers and the C-level that are interested in knowing what's going on there. And related with what can be measured, okay, there are a lot of things that you can measure, but I will focus on at least the questions you can answer, like, okay, how many people are being attracted by the projects I am building in my company? How many people are starting to contribute? How these number of people is growing in terms of, is the company or the project growing in terms of contributors? What's the role of these contributors? Are they core developers, regular developer, casual developers? What's the level of engagement they have with the project? And again, what's the relationship, just to see if I am really breaking the silos. That was the aim of these initiatives, for sure. And there are also metrics related with the processes, like, okay, what's the engagement in terms of what's the workload that is being put there, how many commits, how many issues, how they are being solved, all these things. Of course, the life cycle of the project, is the project just active, is just declining, or is just a new project that is getting a lot of hype internally in the company? Is there fair play between the people when they are working in different teams, just how the things are being solved or deal with are being in the same way? These are metrics that I think are interesting to have, and again, it's about how we apply them in this process I explained before. It's a cycle and a set of cycles that I'm using to approach the goals of my company or my project. So this again is the way to proceed. So some conclusions just to end. Software teams are, from my point of view, one of the most valuable resources in modern organizations, and they may be measured by part of the metrics that matter. Siloed organizations block people to reach their potentials, and we need to allow free people to let them grow and give us all the potential. Open source projects seem to be resilient to this COVID-19 situation, and mainly with any of these situations. So inner source could be the path, or I think is the path, to apply open source culture inside the organization. So once we have all of this, again, we believe that data-driven data-driven inner source management is possible and reduce risk, fosters innovation, and of course fosters organization success. So that was all from my side. This is a small slide about Bitalia, what we do, and just some information about all the charts that have been shown in this talk has been done through an open source tool that you are free to use, that is called on.io. You can go there and start playing with it. If there is any question and time for questions, let's go for it. These are my details for contact. Thank you very much.